and welcome back to another video. And this is going to be a species profile on the eastern black rat snake, or Latin name, Elapidae obsoleta obsoleta. Now, I do love black rat snakes. They are one of the most docile snakes that you can find in New Jersey. So let's start talking about them, and we'll start with the first category of size and appearance. So, the size of a black rat snake is between 34 and 100 inches. That's about the average size. There are some that are a little bigger, a little smaller, but they usually average around that size. But then their appearance is actually different as they age. So as a juvenile, when they're first hatched from the eggs, they're going to be a gray snake with brown blotches. And now this coloration is supposed to mimic that of a timber rattlesnake, which is a venomous species found in New Jersey. So most predators will not want to attack a venomous species in fear that they'll get bit, and then they'll be envenomated. But as an adult, they grow out of that coloration, they lose their patterns, and they become a long black snake with a white chin and a pale belly. But they kind of look similar to that of a northern black racer. A good way to tell them apart is that black rat snakes are usually a little bulkier and not as fast. I have another video here about the species profile on the northern black racer, and it will be great if you guys want to check it out. But let's hop into the next category. Now let's get into the diet of the black rat snake, which is pretty obvious. It's in its name. It eats a lot of rats and a lot of other rodents. So it'll take down mice, rats, chipmunks, squirrels, maybe even a small rabbit when they're full grown. The snake, not the rabbit. But they have also been known to eat birds, and they will often climb up trees and get into birds' nests and eat their eggs and their young, which, poor birds, but good for the snake. So that's their main diet. So let's hop into the third category of their habitat. So their range is pretty much the entire state of New Jersey, from rocky hillsides to farmlands and fields, pretty much anywhere where there's a good population of rodents. Now, while a black rat snake does like an area with more trees and heavily wooded because they are semi-arboreal, they don't really require that. You will often find them in farms and fields, and they'll just be in the barns, sometimes in the rafters if they want to get that height. But they'll be perfectly happy there looking for rodents, which makes them really good for farmers because they eat the rodents that would eat the feed and the grain, maybe even the chicken eggs. While the snake will leave those alone, maybe it'll take an egg, but probably not. It'll just take out the rodents, which are a problem for the farmer. So now let's hop into the number found and a few tips I have. So I found actually a lot. Not a lot, nowhere near to the number of garters and water snakes I found, but I found around 5, probably more, black rat snakes. Now, you might often confuse them with the black rat racer, but they are a lot more docile and a bit bulkier than black racer, so that's a good way to tell them apart. And also, when you see them side to side, it's a lot easier. But a good way that I found them is that setting out boards and tin and all that. They'll often be underneath there, and you can flip them and find them, and they'll often be docile. But actually, a lot of the ones that I found, they were just crossing the path. So when they're full grown, not much can really take down a black rat snake. It's too big for a lot of smaller predators, and a hawk might pick it up, but it's still a pretty large snake. So they are often not that afraid. So I've seen them multiple times crossing the path, going to look for rodents and all that, and then I could just pick them up and have them. So let's hop into the next category of their interesting facts, which are really cool. Black rat snakes are really cool, and I actually have a few interesting facts. So first off, they eat 9 pounds of rats a year. Now you may be thinking, 9 pounds, that's not too much. That's about the average size of a baby. But if you take that into mice, that's about 192 mice a year. So think about that. There are 365 days in a year, and 192 of those days, these snakes are catching mice, which is crazy because also don't forget that in the winter, they're bermating in hibernaculums. So they're only up a few months of the year, and in that time, they're eating about 192 mice, which is just crazy. So another interesting fact is that they're also called pilot snakes. Now you're going to say, why is it called a pilot snake? Well, it was thought in old lore that they would lead venomous snakes like timber rattlesnakes and copperheads to hibernaculums. So those snakes would follow the black rat snakes and they would go into hibernaculum. Now, that's not really true, but In a way, it kind of is, because those species of snake will often hibernate together in a large hibernaculum, so it was thought that the non-venomous snake would just be nice and be leading the venomous snakes, while in reality, it was just coincidence that they're all, and because it's a good place for them to hibernate, that's why they were all going to there. They are also a very good climber and semi-arboreal, which is when they'll go up and eat birds and birds' eggs. So if you guys like this video, please don't forget to hit the like button, to subscribe if you want to see more like this, and I'll see you guys in the next episode coming out on Saturday.